JD is not weird. He's a solid rock. I happen to be a very solid rock. We're not weird. We're other things perhaps, but we're not weird. But he is a weird guy. He walks on the stage. There's something wrong with that guy. And he called me weird. And then the fake news media picks it up. That was the word of the day. Weird, weird, weird. They're all going, but we're not weird guys.
This was branded as a town hall with Donald Trump and Sean Hannity on Fox. It was a propaganda session, and at least in this part, not a single audience question was asked to Donald Trump. But when Sean Hannity asked Donald Trump a question, Trump thought that he was still running against President Biden, and he continued to get confused who he was running against. Play this clip.
I can't imagine New Hampshire voting for him. Anybody in New Hampshire, because they're watching right now, but anybody in New Hampshire that votes for Biden and Kamala, I really think I call her.
Then Donald Trump said that he knows a lot about nuclear programs because his uncle was at MIT. Play this clip.
Upgraded our entire program. And you know, the one program I hated to upgrade, hated it, was the nuclear program. And I understand it maybe better than anybody. My uncle was at MIT, a professor, the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, very smart guy. We have a smart family. It's nice to have a smart family. But I understood nuclear for a long time. The power of nuclear weapons. You need a president that's not going to be taking you into war. We won't have World War III when I'm elected.
And Donald Trump praises the authoritarian from Hungary, Viktor Orban, and Donald Trump says we need a strong man. Play this clip.
It's a question they asked Viktor Orban, who's really considered a very strong. They said he's a strong man. Sometimes you need a strong man. He's a strong man. He's the prime minister of Hungary.
Then Donald Trump's pitch to voters is you have no choice. You have to vote for him. You have no other choice, he says. Play this clip.
I'm not going to allow it. You can't take the chance. You have no choice. You've got to vote for me. You've got to vote for me. You got to. Even if you don't like me, you know? Yeah. It's no, but even if you don't like me, you can sit there and say, I can't stand that guy, but there's no way I'm going to vote for her. Now,
just to be very clear, when he praises Viktor Orban before as a strongman, what he's then also referring to is the dictator that he wants to be. Then Donald Trump goes into this kind of baseless conspiracy spread on Fox that because Vice President Kamala Harris did not put McDonald's down on her resume when she was a lawyer, that she really didn't work at a McDonald's. Play this clip.
You know my jobs. I've listed them 100 times, working in the service industry and bartending and cooking and washing dishes and construction. Not McDonald's. That was a lie. And
by the way, she didn't work at McDonald's, right?
She did not. Well, there's no evidence of it.
Did she work at McDonald's? Because
so far, no evidence.
I don't think so, based on what I saw.
Here's my question.
This is the type of stuff that Fox is spreading to their echo chamber. Here, Donald Trump then continues to whine about the fact that President Biden is no longer running against him. And then he lies and claims that there's that he was up 18 points against Biden, which he was not. And then he also, if you'll see in this interview, there's like a mosquito that keeps on biting him and he keeps swatting away a mosquito. Play this clip.
Although a friend of mine said, you shouldn't have done the interview. He's not going to make it. And you know what? He didn't make it. You know, think of this. It's very unfair in a lot of ways. I complain about it, but she ran against him in the primary. She got no votes, and she was the first to leave. 22 people or something like that. And she dropped. She was down to nothing, never even made Iowa. And he got 14 million votes, and they threw him out. They said, we want you out. And he wasn't going to win, I don't think. I don't think he was going to win, but we did a good debate. We had a good debate, and it was a fair debate. And he was down like 18 or 19 points after the debate. And I hate mosquitoes. I'm surprised. I didn't think we had. We don't like those mosquitoes running around. We want nothing to do with them. And we want nothing to do with bad politicians that hate our country, too. You want to know the truth.
Then Donald Trump lies. And again, this is, well, all he does is lie. But on Fox, this is the type of stuff that they spread. So it goes unchecked. There's no real time or anytime fact checking of this stuff. And then Donald Trump lies and says that if Vice President Kamala Harris wins, there's going to be 100 million illegal immigrants. Let's be very clear also, Donald Trump voted against the bipartisan border deal to try to create chaos. Let's also be factual. There's less border crossings right now since President Biden issued an executive order than when Trump was in office. Here, play this clip.
If they won, you'd have not 20 million, you'll have 100 million people. You won't have Social Security. You won't have Medicare. You won't have anything already. If you take a look at the numbers, they're filling up and loading up Social Security, Medicare with illegal immigrants that have come into our country, many of them from jails and many of them from very bad places. And we're not going to destroy our country, Sean.
Then in this Fox echo chamber audience, the part that got the biggest applause line here is when Donald Trump said on day one he wants to launch the biggest mass deportation operation in history. That's his main agenda. Play this clip.
Places that never had the problem, they're pouring in. 21 million people, that's bigger than New York. And we have to stop it. And we have to do the largest deportation in the history.
Let me play for you.
Then Donald Trump spreads a completely baseless conspiracy that CNN gave Vice President Kamala Harris all of the questions in advance of her interview last week. Play this clip.
I'll say something else.
Real quick, because we got a break.
If you watch that interview, she had notes. That means she knew the questions, and she had notes. She kept looking down, up. Nobody wants to cover it. I know all about notes. I mean, it's all right if people know that, but she wasn't supposed to have notes. So she's asked a question. She looks down. She keeps on. She had notes. That means she knew that she knew what was happening.
Donald Trump then says that he should be praised for his time in office because there were no World Trade Center blowups. Play this clip.
But I wanted to say it so much during my term. We went 4 years without any blow-ups. We had no World Trade Center blow-up. We had no radical Islamic terror. We had no radical Islamic terror.
How about you were the most disastrous president objectively in history? I mean, you lost jobs. The only other president to do that was Herbert Hoover, although my nickname for Donald Trump is Pervert Hoover. Also, the way you mishandled COVID and said like a miracle, it's all going to go away, and that we should inject bleach, and you bragged about your ratings at the press conference, where someone who was a real president would have actually started engaging with facts back in 2019, hence why it's called COVID-19. And in 2020, you were claiming it's all going to go away. Just absolutely ridiculous. But then Hannity asks the crowd, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And again, this just goes to show you the brainwashing. The crowd's like, yeah, you're indoors, crowd. Back then, there were Trump lockdowns. There was no football. There was mass casualty events. There was no toilet paper. There were mile-long food lines because people were starving to death. That's what was happening. Here, just play this clip again.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Okay.
And then over here, we have Sean Hannity closing out this town hall, and not a single question was asked from audience members. So that's not exactly a town hall. Here, play this clip.
All right. Now, so unlike Kamala Harris, our time is actually up. However, we're going to let Dave McCormick ask the first question, and we're going to air that not tonight, but tomorrow night.
He always does this,
I do.
Says, our time's up, but you know what? Let's make 2 shows out of it.
All right. More from President Trump as we continue. We are in the all-important state of Pennsylvania in Harrisburg. Thank you for being with us.
Well, there you have it, folks. Should I show you one more thing? How about J.D. Vance doing an interview at the same time with Charlie Kirk? Now, Charlie Kirk is the person who says that there should not be MLK Day. He says that there should not be black pilots. That's who J.D. Vance is campaigning with tonight. And Charlie Kirk asked J.D. Vance what he would do to help parents get childcare. And J.D. Vance's answer is to use free labor for family members and then to allow childcare providers not to have any experience or training. That's his solution to this. Here, play this clip.
Can we do about lowering the cost of daycare? Hayden, obviously a working family, and it's very hard for working families to get by. How will we lower the cost of daycare?
You know, such an important question, Charlie. And I think one of the things that we can do is make it easier for family models to choose, or for families to choose whatever model they want, right? So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that, you know, maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more, or maybe there's an aunt or uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare. Now, you talk about just daycare. Let's say you don't have somebody who can provide that extra set of hands. What we've got to do is actually empower people to get trained in the skills that they need for the 21st century. We've got a lot of people who love kids, who would love to take care of kids, but they can't, either because they don't have access to the education that they need, or maybe more importantly, because the state government says you're not allowed to take care of children unless you have some ridiculous certification that has nothing to do with taking care of kids. So empower people to get the skills they need. Don't force every early child care specialist to go and get a 6-year college degree where they've got a whole lot of debt and Americans are much poorer because they're paying out the wazoo for daycare. Empower working families, empower people who want to do these things for a living, and that's what we got to do.
That's what's going on at the same time as that Trump fake town hall. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million together. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.